And I think we are live. Yes, we are. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It's so wonderful to see so many of you on here already. I can see lots of people from all over. So hello, I'm Amy from the Wakelet team, and you're tuning in for a really exciting session. It's going to be all around Wakelet Spaces. So we are joined by two wonderful Wakelet ambassadors who are super excited to show you all of the ways that they're using spaces. First, I'm going to jump into a little bit of a demo, but first we'll do some hellos. We've got Cami there from Egypt. Hello, because it's so lovely to see so many of you jumping on and joining us. That's one of the best things about these webinars. You can say a few hellos and see people from all over as well. We've got Roland there, a few familiar faces, Maha from Bangladesh, Tatiana from Romania. Any shout outs, guys?
I just think it's incredible how many people are out there.
I know.
But yes, we've got so many people joining us, and it's so lovely to see. And the great thing about this is please use this to ask any questions throughout in the comments, and let us know your ideas. Use this time to share your ideas. If you're using spaces already, we'd love to see what you think of those. So for now, before we jump into some examples from Eileen and Jen, I'm going to give you actually an overview of spaces themselves and what they are and how you can actually. So I'm going to share my screen in just a second. But first, I just wanted to let you know that any of the resources we'll share out to you after the session. And we will also share out a link for you to complete. So you'll get a certificate of attendance. So for your professional development, you'll have a certificate to show that you've attended the webinar. And you'll also be able to watch this back live on YouTube afterwards as well. Well, not live, but the recording will be available straight away on YouTube. So don't worry if you missed anything. We can jump back or you can have a little look through after. But yeah, so many of you joining. It's so lovely to see. But I'm going to jump straight in. Because lots of people ask around spaces and they're great. There's something that was brought about with our Wakelet ambassadors saying they wanted a space in which they could share collaboratively and invite students to work with them collaboratively. So that's really where it began. But from that, it has become a tool in which we use for lots of different things with professional development and sharing out lots of collections at one time. So I am going to share my screen. Hope we can all see that. And so a lot of you will be familiar with this. This is your home area. This is Wakelet, and this is where you create all your collections. But this along the side here is where your spaces are. So you can see that I've got lots of different spaces here. And they act like separate profiles where you can create lots of collections within these. So I'm going to do a little walkthrough of how you would create a space and some of the things that you can actually do with them. And what I'm actually going to get you to do is join a space with me and actually collaborate on one of the collections within that. So I'm actually going to create it as we speak now. So to go and create a space, you'd go to this plus button just here. And that will add a new space. So you can name this whatever you would like. We're going to call this Wakelet Webinars. And you can even put a little icon in there as well. So if you want to use the library that we have, you can do that there. I'm going to use this one because it looks a little bit like a moon. And we're talking about spaces. So I think that's quite fitting. So you can pop that as the icon. And that's great for kind of referencing along the side and you know where to go to as well then. So it's a great way for you to be able to do that. Oops. So if I give it a little refresh, it's probably going to play up while I'm on StreamYard because it doesn't like me doing two things at once. But yeah, the image is really great for you to be able to then do that. So if I try that one again, webinars, and pop in an image just there. And like I said, it's really good for if you have multiple classes. It helps you differentiate between them throughout there as well. So it doesn't want to play ball. So we're just going to create that for now. But this then creates a space for you. So within your space, you can do lots of different things. You can have this just personally for yourself to create collections, almost a little bit like a folder system, separate to your home area. You could create one for class 1, class 2, to keep lots of different resources in there. But you can also actually invite others to this space. So if you wanted to invite other collaborators, other students, other colleagues to actually join these spaces with you, it enables you to do that and them to join the space, create their own collections, add to your existing collections, and it creates a really lovely, almost like classroom for you to collaborate together. So just a few things. So with this is actually a private space at the moment, but if you wanted to make this a public space, create something like a microsite or make it like a resource hub, you can actually change this at any time to a public space. So if you go to your space settings just here, you'll see this button, this little toggle just here. And if you click that, it will actually publish your profile. And you'll see that you've got an @ handle similar to your Wakelet username. So it's another public profile that you can actually post collections onto, and that will make all of those public collections public for you to actually access. So within this, you can create as many collections as you like. You can keep some private. So just because your space is public doesn't mean it has to have all of your collections on show in a public profile. You can still keep some private for yourself. So that's great for if you're sharing certain ones out as resources for other teachers and things like that, but you want to have some private notes or something like that in a collection separately. So I'm going to create a collection here. And we've seen the lovely layout. So I hope you've all been able to check out the new column view and have a little play around on that as well. But for now, I'm going to set it to mood board because I always love this for like class discussions and collaborative collections such as this. And what I want you to do is throughout this session, I'd love to know what your ideas are on spaces, or if there's anything that Jen and Eileen share that you really love, please share it in here. So add your favorite ideas. Pop that in there. And you can add that as text, you can add that with images, you can add that with GIFs. We've got the Giphy clips in there as well, so add that with those. So you can create whatever you like. I'm going to put a little background, and again, a little update there as well, in case you hadn't noticed. That design button's just changed up there. So you can actually add a cover image just here as well. So I'm going to go for Giphy, and I'm going to go for a Wakelet one just here. This one is quite fun with the waves. And you can change that around. So I'm going to have this in the background. I'm going to send you the link in the chat just now. And once you're ready, if you see a good idea, pop it in there. We want to hear how you're using spaces at the moment, or if you see a great idea and it's something that you think you'll use in the future, please let us know. So I'm going to click done for now, and I'd just like you to add it to that collection there. And what you'll see is just under your members at the moment, it's just me, I'm Yona. However, to invite others to that space, you can go to this icon just here. And this will allow you to actually invite members to join your space, and you'll be able to work in this whole space and add to collections all in one place as well. There's also the opportunity, which I will jump back to afterwards. Once we've got all of our members in here, I'll show you that you can actually manage the members that you have in there. You can make them admins or just contributors. So you can have it play around with that as well. But I'm going to grab this link just here. If you have a Wakelet account, it will add straight to your spaces, so you can go straight through. If you don't, you can just copy down this code if you want to as well and enter that in. It will just ask you for the single sign-on option, so you can sign up with Google, Microsoft, or any of those that they have there as well. But for now, I'm going to grab this invite link. And hopefully that gave you a really quick overview of creating spaces. And like I said, it's really simple, going to that plus button just there on your home area and creating a space. So I'm going to jump back, see if there's any questions on that just before I pass over to Eileen. So any questions on that? I'm going to pop that link in the comments just there. So everyone get joining. You can have a little play around with it whilst Eileen and Jen are on. And any ideas, like I said, add with text, add with images, add with a GIF, anything you like, you can add to that collection. But I'd love to know what your ideas are on spaces, what you think of them, and how you think you'll use them as well. Fantastic. So I don't think there's any questions. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Eileen on to join me. And hi, Eileen, how are you?
I'm doing really well, especially now that I'm here with you, Amy, and with everybody who's attending. It's wonderful to see familiar names and some new names. We're always having so many people in the Wakelet community because they see it's such a great app.
Yeah, it's so good to see. And this is one of the things I love about doing these webinars. We get to, get to kind of have a chat in the comments and things like that and say hello to some familiar faces. But yes, I'm going to hand over to you because I know you've got some great ideas that you would love to share with everyone. So yeah, for now, over to you, Eileen.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it. And so I'm going to start sharing my screen. And hopefully you're able to see it. So just a little bit about me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a Wakelet ambassador, a community leader, and I just got certified like many others now that we have that certification option, which is really, really awesome. Here's a picture of a good part of my family, the American side of me, because I have lived in Kuwait since 1984. And so the photo is of my American family, but of course I have a Kuwaiti family. The icons you can see at the bottom are towers and buildings in Kuwait. I am also mentor to several refugee educators in Kakuma camp in Kenya, and I've also taught English to refugees and educators in other parts of the world. I have also, it's not really a company, but I am passionate about the belonging. And so I'm about to publish my book, Journey to Belonging, and I'm very excited about that. It's all about how we all need to find and feel a sense of belonging. So that's just a little bit about me. I know this is about spaces, but because Wakelet started with their collections, and collection is the basic part of spaces, I just really quickly want to share about a Wakelet collection. So you start with your Wakelet collection, and of course you're able to share and collaborate with just your collection. Decide how you want to use Wakelet. So if you're new to Wakelet, I highly suggest that you get an account. It's free, and start collecting your resources. Create a new collection, add at least one artifact, and then collaborate. And collaborating is just as easy as Amy showed you, as if you would collaborate on spaces. And you can invite people. There are QR codes. You can copy the link. And again, you can manage contributors just like you would in spaces. So just really quickly, how I use just collections for collaborating. My collaboration is mostly PD, professional development and training, because I retired from full-time work as an administrator and as an educator in 2019. But there are so many uses for Wakelet in professional development. And so that's kind of my focus. So I have a website, and I was trying to figure out, first of all, how to manage my website, because I'm very busy and I'm the only one who manages it. And also how to keep it up to date, because people don't want to go to a website in April and then visit it again the next month or 2 months and find the same information. And, so I wanted to figure out. So I created collections that I keep up to date. And so just so you hopefully can see this, this is PD that I used for this past summer with the Community Week. And so this is professional development from a collection, and it was how to use Wakelet with your website, which is very pertinent since that's what I'm talking about right now. So I put together all of this, which is available in the spaces that I'm going to link to at the very end with a QR code. So be waiting for that. So you can have access to this if you're thinking of putting together a website and you're not sure how to manage it. This is a great way to do it. And this is actually a page from my website. And how I used Wakelet was I introduced the page, and then I said, click here for more information. And this takes you to my Wakelet collection of resources about self-belonging. And so I'm able to keep it up to date. And as you see, I'm using mood board for this one. Sometimes I like to change it up a little bit. It's a little bit prettier like this. And so that's one way that I use Wakelet collections. But this webinar is about spaces. So how do I use spaces? So back to my presentation. And I know I'm going quickly, but you'll have access to all of these things. If you want to capture this right now, this is the collection about how to use Wakelet with your website. And so that's a public collection. And it's also in my spaces, which I'll show you at the end. So what I did as soon as Wakelet made spaces available was I pulled all of my common themed collections on Wakelet together and pulled them into variety of spaces. And that way I was able to publish them, make them available to people, and then use them in my professional development sessions. So as Amy went through quickly, there are the Wakelet Spaces is really amazing because you're able to put together a number of collections and then share them with members. And because you're able to invite people to collaborate with you, you are also able to have them share their ideas with you. So you could have a collection where you just want to keep your own items in it and just share it and collaborate that way by sharing the resources. Or you can share it as Amy explained, and as you're doing right now, hopefully, and adding to the space she just created for this webinar, you can add to the space. So I'm going to show you two ways to do that. So this is how I used it. For ISTE 20 last June, it was online, and I had the responsibility of doing a creation lab for 90 minutes. And creation labs, if you're not familiar, are supposed to be highly interactive. And in an online situation, it's very difficult to make things interactive. And so the more I thought about it, the more I realized that since my presentation was about Wakelet and how to use Wakelet, that I wanted to be able to show off the use of spaces. And so I had those who attended add to my Wakelet space. And what I did was, this was a slide as part of my presentation, is because I knew people would be unfamiliar with spaces. And so I did a step-by-step, and I went through with them beforehand, because you don't have to have an account in order to be able to share on Wakelet, but it's nice to have an account, hint, hint. And they would enter this code and then just do the single sign-on if they didn't have an account, enter their details, and then click the Creation Lab space on the left-hand side. So that was the way for them to join it. And the whole idea was for them to add to my space. So I'm going to show you how that looked. Let's see if I get the right one. Yes. So this is the Creation Lab space that I used for the ISTE 20 presentation. And as I went through about how to use Wakelet, and we got to spaces and collaboration, I showed them. And as you can see, I added one collection, but 42 collections were added to it in the meantime, with 152 members. So during the space of my Creation Lab, and then after, when people watched the recording, because it was online, so it was recorded, these are people who created their collections, and because they had the code, they were able to add. And for me as the presenter, it was wonderful because I was able to see in real time how they had been able to understand or not understand what I was showing them, and that they were really excited to start using it. So these are all the collections that people added while I was presenting or when they were using the watching the recording. And so that was an awesome way to use Spaces to collaborate for professional development, from the presenter side to see in real time what the attendees were doing, and to make it interactive, and for the attendees to feel that they had a place to go where they could collaborate with me, even though I was thousands of miles away, because I was here in Kuwait when I presented. So that was one way to do the professional development in Spaces and collaborate. So to invite them in and do it in real time. I am now preparing a course on EduSpark. For those of you who have heard of EduSpark, it's a professional development platform, and I'm developing a course for that platform. And the course is about self-belonging. And I have decided that in order to make it interactive, and also I need to see what people are working on, is that they will create portfolios of their work, their reflections, their reactions, and so forth. And they will have their own portfolio, and they will add it to this self-belonging space that I am creating. And so I will show that to you now. Again, it's so easy to create the space, just like Amy showed you. And there was a little bit of delay because, as she said, StreamYard pulls in a lot of the internet, but the bandwidth or whatever. But this is what I've started creating. It will be only shared because I can share it, just the link, with the people in the course. So it wouldn't be a totally public space. And what they will be able to do is, once I share the code with them, they'll be able to add, and I will be able to see what they're working on and reflecting on, and they can keep their collections private. I'm still working it through, but I'm hoping that they will share with the others in the class, but it won't be a public kind of thing. It will just be among those who register for the class. And I'm really excited about this because, number one, it's a way for them to keep track of their own personal reflections and their own sort of homework that they'll be doing during the course. And then at the end, they will have a collection of everything that they worked on. But in addition to that, I will be able to share all the resources that they need. So basically, for the course, it will be their one-stop shop for the course. They will have access to things on the platform, but if they want to just go to get the resources that I'm giving them, the articles, quotes, things like that I've created, then all they need to do is find to click into the spaces, and they'll have all that information. So this is basically what I'm creating. Again, another way to use Spaces, not as a totally public, but public enough so that I can invite who I want to be using the space. And so just so you have access to this PD of resources, it's another space I have, and I will show it to you in a second, and then I'll show you all of the spaces I've created and what this one looks like. It also includes the one about the website. So if you want to capture that or take down the code, and then you can get to the spaces. I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that before I show you the space that I created. It has a wealth of PD resources for all kinds of grade levels and and I'm always adding to it. As I create a new PD resource, I add it to, so it's always up to date. So now let me show you. So this is if you captured that or used the code, this is the actual space of collections that I have. And as you see here, how to use Wakelet with your website was added. That's the one I showed you at the beginning. I presented on and put together, I like Wakelet a lot. All things Wakelet. I have information about Buncee. I've done several mini PD sessions about teaching English language learners. That's one of my specialties. Resources for refugee education, and all kinds of things. So all of these are in that space that I just shared with you. And so, yeah, so that, it's really important. I'll just put it up here one more time in case you haven't gotten to the space yet. So here it is one more time. And then just if you have any other questions or want to reach out to me, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, most of the social media. I have a podcast called Journeys to Belonging. And it comes out just about every Wednesday, a new episode. And you can see my website, and you can see how I've used Wakelet collections on my website to keep my resources updated, and a place for me to be able to keep my resources all together. And that keeps me, if I'm curating the resources properly, then that keeps me in line. When I go to look for something, I can find it quickly. And so that's me. That's my presentation.
Thank you so much, Eileen. There were so many really good ideas there. I love the idea of doing a creation lab for ISTE. It's so so cool to see that, because you've been able to pull in all of that feedback and those ideas from all over, and it's like a global project almost, because you've seen people's responses, and that's what I love about you can send out that invite code and you can have people from all over collaborating and joining in and providing ideas. So that was really cool to see, and great for kind of documenting, like you said, as a presenter, seeing what worked really well and how people found it, and getting that feedback as well, which is really great for your professional development. So I really love to see that, and it's a really great way of using spaces. But no, fantastic. And our space itself is getting really busy as well with lots of ideas. I've seen some cat images and things like this, which I absolutely love. If you've heard me talking about pets before, which you probably have, I love seeing cats and dogs tuning into webinars. So it's one of my favorites. But I also loved about the course as well. I think that's a really great way for anyone taking the course, or even students you can use that with to document and sort of create these portfolios to show their progression and journeys throughout the course. And like you said, you can have those in a private space. You don't have to make those public. They can still have those private without them going anywhere. So it's a really nice way to sort of create that space for them. So I'm really looking forward to how that all comes together and turns out as well. So you have to keep us posted about that one.
I will. I'm excited about it. Yes.
Yeah, it'd be really good. And our new the certified course again was created in a space that we did, and we created and pushed out this week. So it's a really great way of being able to sort of create that sort of self-paced learning environment, but also a place where you can record and sort of create all that content for documenting it as well. So no, thank you so much, Eileen. There's so many great ideas, and we'll have a little look in I know there were some screenshots and things sent of what you were sharing, and any links, feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll get those shared out as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Eileen. We'll pop back in a second to see some of the responses on the collection. But for now, I'd love to bring Jen in to say hello. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you, Eileen, for all of those ideas. That was cool. Now my brain is like buzzing.
Yay. And I can't wait to hear yours too. Yay.
Yeah, we're fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to now hand over to Jen, who's going to share some more fabulous ideas. So yeah, over to you, and please continue to pop those ideas in the space and also in the chat as well. If you have any questions, I'm sure there'll be some time at the end that we can go through and we can jump on as well. But for now, over to you, Jen. Can't wait.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Jen Lieben, and I am coming to you from the Midwest United States. I am in the suburbs of Chicago, and right now it is our lunch hour. So hey, I'm so excited to see everyone like from all over watching the webinar today. That's always so exciting to me to, you know, what technology affords us that we can collaborate across, you know, thousands of miles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I've been using Spaces. I guess I should probably tell you a little bit about myself first. I don't have a formal presentation. I was just going to kind of walk you through my Wakelet and explain how I use this. I am an instructional technology coach, which means that I go to a bunch of different schools. I work with different school districts. I come in and I help teachers use technology. So things like Wakelet, a teacher might say, I'm interested in this. Can you show me around? How might I use it? So that's the kind of thing that I do. I work for a company called the Learning Technology Center of Illinois. We are a statewide organization. Our State Board of Education funds us, and we can then help schools afford a technology coach that otherwise might not be able to, like have a full-time coach. I'm able to just like kind of contract out in smaller bits and visit a bunch of places. So this is a new job for me this year. I used to be an art teacher. I used to be a computer teacher, and I was even a K-5 librarian. So I've done lots of things, but I do love technology and the fact that it's always changing. And Wakelet is a really cool tool to kind of keep track of all the things that we're finding online and that we run into. So I've lately just really gotten into Spaces because as a technology coach, I wanted to create a newsletter that I pushed out and shared with my 3 different school districts, my 6 different school buildings. And I was really kind of racking my brain about how to do this. And I thought about different tools and a lot of different like systems. And I actually was talking on Twitter with some other teachers about it. And somebody was like, well, duh, Spaces. And to be honest, I was like, oh, I should probably go check that out. And it was amazing. So what I did was I created a space that is called Jen's Tech Coach Newsletter. And because I just started this, I have my first newsletter is here. It's a separate collection. And then I actually have another collection that's just my template that I can copy and use for my future newsletters. So as the year goes on, what I can do is I can share this one link, the Gen ITC News link, with my schools, my staff, and they can go to this one link all year, all the time, and you can go and find the different newsletters and the different sources. So if they have to go back and find them later on, it's all housed in that one place. So that's super helpful. It's like I can just have it grow my living, document over time and add my newsletters to that. So that's one thing that I really liked about Spaces. And then I started thinking about like, well, how can I use it, more for collaboration? And I actually have a group of teachers. So I'm going to show you this collection, but there's like nothing in it. This is just the shell because we all have big plans. So there's a group of teachers that I met on Twitter, and we are all over the United States, and we've come together and we've sort of dubbed ourselves the Green Screen Knights because we love all things video and green screen. So this is a place that we have that we can start housing, questions, resources, things we come across all the time. So we did a summit over the summer. And so there's a collection here that we can add stuff to. There's a collection here that we can put all of our equipment in. I just realized like we probably should have a collection with like all of our profiles and things. But this is a place where like that group of teachers from all over the place can kind of combine our superpowers and form a place to go. So by the way, that's Manny Curiel, Erica Sandstrom, and Bruce Riker. So if you know any of them on Twitter, they're all my super green screen friends. Now, the other Wakelet space that I created is I sort of use Spaces like as a folder system. So a Wakelet within a Wakeletception. And this particular space, I just called professional development because this is just a collection of all the collections that I've done every time I do a PD. So kind of like Eileen was showing all you, every time I do a presentation, I create a collection of all the resources I've used. So for example, this is from a YouTube session I did, and not all of these are public. Some of them are, some are not. What I'll do is I will put a link to the actual presentation, and then I will put links to all of the resources or tools or things that I talk about in the presentation. So it's all in one place. Because when you're at a presentation and the person is showing you all the different, like, you could use this, you could use it, and you're like hurriedly trying to write it all down. Well, I just put it all in a Wakelet, and then I show it to them like at the end of the session. I'm like, here, it's all here. And it's kind of funny because I actually have another collection in here called Green Screen that I do collaborate on with my friend Bruce. So, and then I also put in like all of my contact information too in the collection, so that if somebody comes to one of my presentations, they can then find me later on, or other people that I recommend people follow. If you like that, go check out what this person's doing. So all of that ends up showing up in one place. So I like to use Spaces for that. So right now, I've got, my PD space, I've got my newsletter space, I've got my space with my friends. And then of course I have my, personal space where I'll put a bunch of stuff too. I've really been enjoying, I'm going to show you this one in particular. I've been enjoying the new columns layout. Because what I did was I took a bunch of my resources and I was able to like break them down into like, the PDFs for manuals and guides for this, Ben Q board, and then links to like things that I've created. I know these columns are so cool. So I've really found a lot of use for that. Coincidentally, I created this Tech Coach newsletter space before columns existed. So I do love it. I love the space for this, but you could use one collection with columns as a newsletter, and you could use like a different column for each month or whatever. So just options. It's nice to have options out there. And I did want to show you one other thing that I've kind of done with Wakelet. My art teacher background, I'm married to an art teacher as well. He's an art teacher. One of the things that we love to do is try to find ways to customize things. So something I've done, and this is my collection that is newsletter template. I created banners. I created horizontal banners that I can put in that will be dividers in my newsletter. So this is just the template that I'm using, but if I back up, I can show you how it looks in an actual newsletter. So I put information in, and then there's a divider that says video update, and there's a link to the video. And then I can put more information in there, and then I can use another image. So using an image as a divider, I think that's kind of helpful. Because my only complaint about the new column layout, I love it, but I want to color code it and use fonts, guys. Come on. So future plans. So in the meantime, I sort of find these ways to create these, and I insert pictures as dividers in there to kind of help organize my spaces and collections as well. So yeah, I'm all about the visuals and how things look, and love the fact that GIFs are put things in from Giphy now. That's one of my favorites as well. I actually used one as like used a GIF there as my header. And yeah, basically challenge. I like, having a new tool and thinking about how can I use this? So I think, I can use it as a folder to organize my stuff. I can use it to collaborate with my friends. I think even within a school building, if you had a space for different departments that you could use and collaborate and share resources, or like I have a group of 10 coaches I work with. I'm like, why don't we have a space and put all our stuff in here? That would make sense. And then my latest idea I've been playing around with in my head is kind of teacher SEL stuff. I'm like, I need to create a collection that's just called the Happy Collection, so that anytime I get like a positive email or a cute drawing from a student or something, I need to put it all in that collection. So when I'm having a bad day, I can go to that collection and look at it and like feel better about myself and the whole teaching situation. So, and that shared one, oh, that was the last thing I wanted to tell you. I went into our shared Wakelet space, and I did add my my Wakelet profile. So you can go in and click around and see all these things that are there as well. So I did put it in our little shared space that Amy started for us here. although we need to have a collection that's just called cats in here, please. Cats and animals, gifts, animal gifts. So that's what I have for you today. So thank you so much for letting me share my stuff.
Thanks so much, Jen. And yes, I completely agree. We do need to have a separate cats one. We kind of discovered that after Community Week, where it was one of the sessions and a cat came across the screen and then it all went mad and we absolutely loved it. So yes, we need some more pet collections out there. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing those ideas. It was so great to see newsletters. I mean, anyone's who heard me raving about newsletters before, I love seeing them on Wakelet, and I think putting them in a space and having that place for you to share them out sort of as you add to them, things like that is great. So yeah, that's fantastic. And similar to how we use it also in the Wakelet team, we do that and you're using that with your friends and colleagues, you know, creating those spaces to just collaborate and have those ideas all in one place. You can use it professionally, you can use it personally, you can use it work, outside of work, you know, you can actually invite anyone to create all of those together. And you really do have these wonderful places where you've got ideas from everyone. And it's just super convenient as well to have all of those resources and things all in one place as well. There was a lot of love for your headers there. Lydia was saying she uses Canva. What were you using for those? Yes. Yeah. They're very
well,
nice.
Canva would be my recommendation. Actually use I use my iPad and my Apple Pencil because my art background, I have an affinity for like drawing things myself by hand. I mean, I did use a text box, but the stuff behind it I hand. Yeah, I'm a nerd like that. But I would recommend Canva. Absolutely.
Love that. Well, yes, they were very impressive and there was a lot of love for those. And even got a little bonus extra about use of columns there, which I absolutely love because it is a great way also to organize all of those resources. Columns, again, similar to spaces, you can use really well collaboratively. It's a new way to collaborate, but also just to organize your resources and things like that. You can use it for yourself, have a column for, like you said, newsletters, days of the week. I've seen sort of like weekly diaries almost on there and things like that. There's so many things you can create. So, and the ideas are coming through. Dr. Harves was saying that he's using columns to curate student internal assessments and documents for our national curriculum. So that's really cool. But it's really great to see in the chat so many ideas being shared as well. And hopefully you've got a lot of inspiration. I know I have from Jen and Eileen there as well. But Eileen, we'll pop you back on. And if anyone has any questions, please keep them coming. I'm also going to see where we're at with the space. I know Jen just jumped onto it there, but yeah, we've seen some great screenshots and ideas being shared in there as well. So,
and I just added my presentation. So
amazing. Thank you so much. Yes. And everyone can take a look at that with all of the links and things like that, because there was so much to see. And I urge everyone to go follow Jen and Eileen on Wakelet as well and see all of their fantastic collections and things. So yes, we just shared the link out again. So if you haven't joined it, you can do. But I'm going to have a little nosy and see how we're getting on. I'll give it a little refresh. I think we've got quite a few people in the space now, even some creating their own collections as well, which is great. But yeah, quite a few. Look at the little kitty cat. Oh, and it's like a little guinea pig. I love that. So I know this was about spaces and sharing ideas, but I love to see these as well. Maha, newsletters on Wakelet. Yes. I love to see them. Jen, yours look fabulous. So a lot of love for that idea there. Some links here shared with Lydia for the e-twining there as well, which is really cool, and the Student Ambassador Programme just there. So I think that's all with the Student Ambassador Programme that Lydia's put on the public collections all around that. So that would be great to check out. So yeah, everyone should be checking these out as well. Have a little look. What I'll do at the end is just share the link. So if you just want to view it, you can do as well. We've got a little kitty cat with Maria there from Maria. And this is the great thing. If you are collaborating as the owner, you're able to see who's added what as well, which is really nice again. But yes, and you can leave little reactions there as well. I've seen quite a few of you do that. But some lovely screenshots. maybe not my best angle, but still love it. But yeah, these are so great to see. And it's so great to gather this feedback in that way. But yeah, there is even some more collections being created there. And actually, we've got 44 members joining, which is fabulous. Oh, and a few more just jumping in there as well. So it's so lovely. I'll keep this going. So if ever you think of any ideas afterwards, we can keep it going and add some more ideas. Someone loving the instructions there to join, Eileen, because it's good to have a little step-by-step as well. So yeah, lovely to see. But I'll jump back, see if there's any questions just before we jump off. Any questions at all? Judge Rita there is saying that they use Wakelet for creating my subject resources. My students use it for making portfolios. Absolutely love that. I love seeing portfolios on Wakelet. Like Eileen was saying, it's a really nice way to kind of document the progress throughout, say, a course or even a subject that they're learning as well. So I love that idea of students jumping into a space and creating a collection to document that. It's really nice to see. Some more love there from Linda for columns as well. Yeah, I'm loving seeing, I don't know if you guys are as well, but seeing on Twitter and socials, all of the columns ideas coming through, because every time I see them, it sparks another idea. So I absolutely love that. So it's good to see.
I just want to give a shout out to the Wakelet team, actually, because starting last year, the state of Illinois issued this law, this student privacy law, that like we had to have these like agreements signed with companies, and it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy. But I reached out to Wakelet to help get this done for my school, and we're so responsive, so quick, so accommodating. So like, yay, just extra shout out if anybody's watching this and like, I want to use this with my kids, but I don't know. Like, ask. Wakelet is so helpful and accommodating. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Jen. I mean, yes, we know that you have so much paperwork to have to deal with anyway. And we want to make sure that you can use it safely for yourself and with your students as well. So we know there's legislations and districts out there who need things signed to be able to allow their educators to use it. So we're always happy to review and sign those, and basically do what we can on the platform to make sure it's safe for students to be able to use in those districts as well. So thank you, Jen. I am going to just share a couple of other ideas, just with you sharing about different ways that you can use spaces as well. So similar to what Jen and Eileen have shared already, but I just wanted to highlight a few that I have actually saved down as well. And you can, like I said, you can use them in a professional sense, but you can use them something like this as well. So we're part of a music club here at Wakelet, and we have this space where you can add your recommendations. Some you can just do with simply collections and things like that, different ones. I mean, Ellen and Sam are has very much done a good job of breaking these down into different sections and things like that, and different collections, so you can get the full breakdown, full recommendation in there as well. But something like this is a really fun thing to do. Film recommendations, music recommendations, anything you like. You can use it, like I said, professionally and personally as well, which is so nice to see.
I love.
I have another. Yeah, it's a really cool one as well. And there's a few done around them with the Wakelet. I know James has one as well, with a few of the team. So it's a really nice way to sort of break away and just have a really nice place to be able to share those ideas, because they can be something that you're just all passionate about as well. So I love if your music teacher create a music club on here and have your students put in their recommendation, or you can do this just amongst your colleagues or something like that as well. So yeah, it's very bright.
It's a great way to establish relationships, which are so important. Yes.
Yeah, you learn so much about each other when you are sort of sharing these ideas and things like that. And you always get that kind of buzz when someone likes a song that you've recommended. I was speaking to James about it on a podcast once, and yeah, it's always nice when someone appreciates what you've provided or brought to the group as well. So that's really nice. It's a nice way to encourage each other and their ideas. This is also another one, and kind of a good idea around sort of a project or a research project that maybe you set your students. We had one with a university halls, and they were looking at creating a space for different things to do in Manchester, where Wakelet is. And we broke it down into places, restaurants, you've got things to see, music venues and things like that. So you could use this as even a way to set an assignment, history, English assignment, anything you like, and your students can then input their collections, add content around all of these different things. We've got art museums and things like that, all full of links, how to get there, things like that. A little bit on the social side and things to go to and visit as well, which is always good for planning trips and things like that, which I love to see. But yeah, this is again we kind of had a team project. So this is a team project we were looking at and working on and sharing ideas in. So we kind of all took an area and created a collection with which you could set your students to do, and they could do that collaboratively as well. So yeah, I just want to share a couple more, but there's so many ways in which you can do that. And by publishing then your collection, you've then got your own sort of like microsite. You've got this whole other profile that you can just easily share out and access all of these. It's almost like a library then of content. Of course, you can have these private as well, but you can publish them, and they create really good sort of resource hubs for you to be able to share out again as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share a few of those and jump back and see if we've got any questions before we love you and leave you. Any questions at all? Any ideas coming through? Yes, so if anyone's looking...
Sorry, the Manchester tour, I was like, I'm the person that like talks in a webinar and types in the chat. So but I was thinking, whatever town your school is in, like to do one like trap for like locals, and then you can like share that out publicly with your community. I just think it's a cute like community school connection. So I thought that was an awesome idea.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to do it, and to sort of document what your school's even doing or what's even like, events going on and things like that. That would be really nice. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
it's
many
a wonderful way for storytelling also.
Yeah, and kind of document that and have that inputted by different people and sort of storytell either a place or an event or something like that. That's really lovely. But so many lovely comments coming through. For anyone looking for the certificate link, it has been shared out, but we'll make sure we share it out again. Oh yes, we have done. Thanks, team. That's been shared out again in the chat. So you can jump on and have a look at that. But for now, I don't think there's any more questions, but I really hope you all enjoyed the session. I know I did. It was fantastic. Thank you so much to Eileen and Jen there. It was great to have you both sharing your ideas as always. And it's so great to see. So hopefully everyone was as inspired as I was and are eager to go and jump on and create some fun new spaces. For now, thank you all so much. Like I said, we'll send out your certificate. And if you want to ever look back and have a look through this session, the recording will be available straight away on our YouTube channel. So you can catch that again. But thank you all so much. Any last words before we jump off, guys?
Just thank you very much. And I really enjoyed, and thank you for the invitation, Amy. And I really enjoyed being on with Jen. This was a wonderful opportunity. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who attended and shared their ideas. Fantastic.
Yep. Now I have even more international friends. So thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant. Well, thank you all so much. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.